Okay, Bob. It's great to meet you guys, and glad I finally had an opportunity to make this video for you. Hopefully, this will, give you some stuff to take to the range and let you continue to work on, the things that we focused on during your lesson. I have before and afters here. On the left is obviously the before. After is on the right, and this is a sort of a drill swing I had you in toward the end of the session. But the first thing I want to just kind of want to diagnose or talk about is the differences in the setup. You can see on the picture on the right, I've widened your stance just a little bit. I've got your hips a little bit further, the center of your hips slightly further forward to the target. Um, Feet flare was already good. I just got you a little bit wider there, maybe a little bit more weight, slightly on the left side. Like I said, you guys had good golf swings already, and you're already doing a lot of things, well. I can tell you work with, Clearwater and those guys, and you've got a lot of good stuff going on here. So um, I'm not going to be too critical. I just want to focus on the things that, or continue to focus on the things that we had worked on. So I want to highlight a couple of things, and some of these things I noticed something by looking at your videos I didn't really see before. So I'll shed light on those things in just a second. But if you look at your takeaway here, from P1 to P2 here, and then on to P3, a lot of really good stuff happening here. Just something that I felt like was an issue was the way that the left knee was working or was not working, and your left knee in the course of the backswing just sort of flexed in this direction. There was really no internal rotation of the left knee, and that was one of the things that I highlighted during your lesson was to get your left knee rotating slightly more inward on the backswing to free up your hip turn. If you look here on the right, you can see that left knee is doing a little better job there. Much more stable here. Right knee is losing flex a little bit faster. Left knee is breaking in slightly toward the ball. And because of that, you've got a little bit deeper hip turn. Because of the deeper hip turn, the shoulders are turning slightly further as well. You've also got a little more wrist hinge here at P3 than in the previous or in the before videos. And going on to the top of your backswing, see what these two positions look like. And again, I had you making an abbreviated swing, so you weren't going quite as far back. But you can see that one thing I want to call out is just sort of this angle going up your right side here, and just going right up your leg, right up your abdomen, and then right up your chest. That's beautiful. That straight line there lets us know that you have left tilted, turned, and extended. You've extended the pelvis and you've extended the thorax in the back throughout the course of the backswing. And had you not do that, had you turn away in flexion, we would see an angle going up the right leg, and then we would see a separate angle going up, the torso, sort of tilting away from the target. That's what we would see if you had not extended the spine. So done a really, really nice job of doing that. One thing I do want to call out, though, and this is something I didn't notice we were working on while we were working, it's something I just noticed in the videos. Throughout the course of the backswing, the weight or pressure is moving from centered in your feet to your toes. Your left heel is actually off of the ground at the top of the backswing, and it should not be. So I want to make sure that the pressure is staying right in your arches, evenly distributed throughout your feet. There may be some, again, I'd like to see the left knee slightly breaking a little more inward throughout the course of the backswing. And again, Bob, at your age, this is just one of the things that's going to help you hit the ball further, and and get it out there close to where your son's hitting it, if that's possible. I know he hits it a long ways, but I wanted to call out that left foot. I want the left heel down. I want the left knee to rotate slightly more inward toward the golf ball, and the cause or the reason for that is because I do not want to restrict your hip turn at all. I want a max hip turn so we get max shoulder turn. But if you look at these two positions, you can clearly see that, even though on the right this is an abbreviated drill type of swing, your shoulders have actually turned more than 90 degrees. But on the left in the pre-swing, they haven't turned quite as much. So and that's a result of the hips not turning as far as well. A lot of good things here. Again, going from, I always like to see 4 to 5, the transition to the left side. And again, I feel like the move on the right is better. Notice how you're pressing into the ground. Notice the separation that's beginning to occur between the knees. I really like the action here of moving left to start the downswing while the arms are dropping. Us getting the weight forward with the handle forward is going to allow us to hit out at the ball. And what I mean by that, again, is creating a club path that's out to the right. And, saying this is our target line here. We want to hit out at the ball so that we can do so hitting a high draw with an open club face, adding loft to the shot, and hitting the ball further. So those are all critical elements to you playing really good golf. Again, I love the move from P4 to P5 on to P6. The weight pressure continues to move left. Nice deep wrist angles here. Wouldn't want to see you any deeper than that. And what I mean by deep wrist angles is how much bend you still have in the right wrist, or how much angle you have formed between the left arm and the shaft. Okay. Most people, a lot of people don't understand this concept, and they think that we've got to have this ton of lag and the club head's got to be trailing the handle by a mile. But I got news for you. That corresponds with how fast you're swinging the club. We're going to all release our accumulators at a little bit different rates depending upon how fast we're swinging the club. Now, if you look at Tiger Woods and he's hitting down a ton and he's swinging, he's swinging a 6-iron 100 miles an hour. Well, yeah, he's going to have a lot of lag, and part of the reason why is he's always trying to flight the ball down. Therefore, he's always wanting the handle way forward. But in our instance, we're trying to hit high draws here. So don't be, when you look at this picture, don't say, well, I don't have as much lag, or, I look at Ben Hogan and I see all this lag. A lot of that is an illusion. A two-dimensional video can appear if you rotate your left forearm in the downswing as though you're increasing a lot and you have a lot of lag. So, we're looking at your swing three-dimensionally with TrackMan, and I really, really like where you're at here. When I look at these two positions, the before and after, we can clearly see we've got more weight on our left side. Now, you are bordering on having the weight too far forward. And what I mean by that is if you look at this left knee here, and you see how much bend we had, the outside of your left kneecap, the model, or what I prescribe, is that the left knee at its max forward point is about 1 to 2 inches outside the left ankle. So you can see that we're already there. You don't need to move 1 ounce further forward than where you are at this frame right here. The only thing I want you thinking about from this point on is getting out of the ground, jumping, extending, taking this belt line and raising it and pointing it toward the target. Really, you've pressed into the ground nicely here. Let's use the ground. And let's get out of the ground. Let's jump off the ground to really, really generate some speed in your swing. We look at the two impact positions. They're pretty similar. You've got a lot of forward shaft lean here. Really, really nice flat left wrist. Back it up a little bit. Better than the video on the left. You can see a little bit of throwaway on the left. Left wrist breaking down just a little bit. The hips are also more opened on the right, which I like as well. And you extend through the ball at a much better rate. This was one of the things that we were really working on here. And that's just a beautiful footwork. I love how the right foot is banking. And notice how here we are at the same exact position. And toward the end of your lesson, I was really having you focus on extending the pelvis and extending the spine. And how you were doing that was envisioning that your head was just sitting here on a wall and it couldn't move forward, but you were taking your belt line and I was having you raise it and extend it toward the target. Well, how do we know that we're more extended here? One of the dead giveaways in my eyes is the right foot here. Notice how the right leg has straightened out and the right foot is in a banking position and the heel is higher off the ground. Whereas if you look over here on the left, right foot is still down on the ground, the lower body hasn't pushed forward, and as a result, the pivot has kind of stalled and the club head has just sort of flipped and passed us. The right hand is sort of rolled over on top. The arms aren't as straight. They're not as extended into the follow through. I mean, look at how straight the right arm is here in this picture on the right, and then you can start to see the the right elbow is bending here on the left. Again, look at the nice curve of your the curvature of sort of your belly all the way down through. I'll try to draw lines here. This nice curved front side here gives us an indicator that you have extended your pelvis and you've extended the thorax here into the finish. Again, the straight right arm, that's keeping our arc nice and wide. We want as big an arc as we can get. And I know you're saying, well, what difference does it matter here in the finish? But I can assure you that if you have an extended right arm radius in this follow through, then you had it at impact. It didn't straighten out after, well into the finish. It was straight just through impact. So overall, really, really good stuff with your. All right, once again, we have before and afters here of the driver, and the setup on the left. One of the issues, we were really trying to get you to hit up on your driver. You were hitting slightly down, 2 to 3 degrees when we first started, but toward the end we had you hitting up 1 or 2 degrees. That's going to be the key to distance for you, Bob, with this driver. Hitting up on this driver, hitting up and out to the right with this driver is going to allow you to hit the ball with positive loft, hitting it much higher, hitting it with less spin. And one of the things that we did here was I just simply had you, again, move the center of your hips more forward toward the target. And this did 2 things. Number 1, notice how much straighter the right leg is. So as the center of the hips move forward, the right knee tends to straighten. Whereas on the left here, you can see you're setting up a lot of bend in this right knee, and also your shoulders are fairly level. Well, when the center of the hips moves forward, when that lower axis moves forward, it creates more axis tilt. And you can see that the spine on the right is tilted much more than the spine on the left. And again, we're trying to replicate that at address and at impact. The other thing we did was we moved the handle of the club just ever so slightly forward. And the reason why is because through impact, I wanted you to have the feeling of the handle moving forward and up and to the right, with the handle forward through impact. So, we take a look at these swings, and there's a considerable difference here. Again, look at the weight moving to your left foot, the toes. The worst thing I see about the swing is the direction that your left knee is moving in. Your left knee is actually moving in this direction, and it needs to be moving inward. So that left knee moving, out toward the target in this fashion is going to be a death move for you, because it's going to really restrict the amount that your hips can turn. If you get here to the top of your backswing, retained a lot of bend in the right knee, left knee hasn't moved inward, left arm is slightly bending. But if you look here on the right, the left knee is rotating inward now, or extending a little better, a little more vertical spine at the top, and then you move into the left side very, very nicely. And I'll compare those frames. Those positions are, pretty close, pretty similar. impact's a little bit different though. You're extending faster on the right. Arms are much straighter. Wrist angles look better. Hips are more open. Pelvis is extending faster. Just a much, much, much better golf swing here on the right. Head stayed on the wall nicely. Pelvis pushing forward. You can see on the left here, elbows starting to bend slightly here. Right foot still down. A little bit closed with the hips and the shoulders. Arms just really soft. Just see how they kind of just collapse on you here. Elbows just fold and collapse. But on the right, much more extended into the follow through here. I'm going to put a model swing up here just to sort of compare, give you an idea of more of what I'm looking for with the driver. And go. Face on. Here we go. This is Grant Waite. Probably the best driver swing I've ever seen. Get you there. So in the backswing, if you remember what Mike and Andy say in the DVDs, the difference between a driver swing and an iron swing is basically we just do more of the same, and we do it for a longer period of time. So we know we're left tilting, turning, and extending with an iron. Well, with the driver, we're going to do it more. We're going to left tilt, turn, and extend longer. And you're not quite doing that. Your pelvis isn't quite extending in this direction in the backswing. And that's notable because you can see you have more of a pronounced angle going up your back here than you did with your irons. With your irons, you had more of a vertical spine. And if you take a look at Grant, I mean, he's extended the max here. He's got a very, very vertical spine here. Notice how the left knee, when you look at Grant's here, how his left knee is sort of breaking inward. Again, that is critical to allow the pelvis to extend in the backswing. I know this camera angle is kind of far away, but you can still see. Now he really gets into his left side here. Beautiful leg work. Notice how the left knee moves away from the right knee. He's moving on to his left side. Left knee a couple inches outside the left ankle. Impact alignments are just absolutely beautiful. The handle's forward. The belt line is raising. The pelvis is extending, and we know that because the right leg is straightening out. Get you to the same position so you can kind of compare. A lot of similarities there, Bob. You should be very, very happy and proud of the golf swing you've got. So you really, really got some good stuff going on here. Just kind of look at Grant onto the finish and notice how he keeps those arms really, really straight, maintains those wrist angles, and continues to extend the pelvis. Notice how straight the right arm is here. That's one of the things I want you to do in a drill shot is get your 7-iron out and really, really keep focus on, once the right arm fully straightens, and it fully straightens at about P7.5, just past impact, about here, the right arm fully straightens and it stays straightened all the way to the finish. The hinging of the club, the recock serves as a method for breaking the club and absorbing the speed of the club head there. You don't see his elbows collapse on top of him. His arms stay relatively straight, and again, he's got that sort of rounded tummy there. That tells you the thorax is extended all the way under the follow through. And again, you're very, very similar there. So I really, really like what you're doing with a golf club. Anyways, buddy, I hope this helps you. I know the video is kind of long, but it was great spending time with you guys.